Welcome to Frequency Matters, the RF and Microwave Update Series. I'm Pat Hindle, and I'm here with my co-host Eric Heim. In this episode, we're continuing our coverage of the IMS 2024 event taking place in Washington, D.C., June 16th through the 21st. And our May issue is dual theme for IMS and 5G-6G with a special focus section on the 5G-6G topics, which you can download as a separate ebook, so that's pretty cool. The cover feature in this special focus section is Beyond the Bench, Adapting Test and Measurement for 6G in the Age of AI. And it's written by NI, which is part of Emerson Test and Measurement now. And AI is certainly a hot topic these days, and you can't really not talk about it when associated with 6G. Eric, what do we have for technical features in this special focus section?
Well, thanks, Pat. And speaking of AI, we have a perspective article from Roger Nichols of Keysight, who's also on the Technological Advisory Council that's advising the FCC on technology like AI and 6G. And the article discusses standards, weaknesses, and challenges to make AI more useful for the wireless industry and more than just large language models and generative AI. We also have an article from ETI that explores how we're going to get to terabit per second transmission speeds. And that's a big part of the 6G vision. So the article gets into details about increasing spectral efficiency, higher order modulation schemes, multi-user MIMO, side lobe reduction techniques, along with the advantages, disadvantages, and measured results from all these levers, I guess I'll call them. And then finally, we have a nice article from Pasternak that looks at some of the drivers for the development of millimeter wave applications and how interconnect technologies and philosophies are being driven by and enabling that development.
And turning to products, we had one tech brief in the special focus section, which was Bootstrap Oscillator delivers exceptional phase noise performance, and that was written by Quantic Wenzel. And Eric, what do we have for product features?
Well, we had two product features. Spectrum Instrumentation developed a new direct digital synthesis firmware option for the company's arbitrary waveform generators that'll give users much more functionality. We also have an article from Marquee Microwave getting into some detail and showing examples of the web-based filter design tools that users can access from their website.
Yeah, I've checked out that filter design tool. It's really cool. And so we had a special guest join us today from Analog Devices. Mike Jones, Product Line Manager, COTS Digitizers of the Aerospace and Defense Group, talked with me about the integration of high-speed digitizer ICs with wideband RF and microwave front ends. Let's take a look at a clip from that now. How does direct sampling at historically high microwave frequencies impact the RF and microwave front end design?
Yeah, so in the past, many converters were not only sampled at low rates, but they also had narrow analog input bandwidths. And so as a result, the engineers historically were forced to mix down in the analog domain to the first Nyquist. And this required the aggregation of many channels to set to different carrier frequencies to reach the desired frequencies of interest in a broadband system. To compound matters, each channel would be forced to contend with the Nyquist boundary that was placed at half the sampling frequency and multiples thereof. Now with the combination of increased sample rates and wide analog input bandwidths, which allow higher order Nyquist sampling, direct sampling can be realized. And with novel high-speed converters, these channels can now instead be software configurable in the digital domain. This arguably simplifies the front-end architectures by removing analog mixing stages and replaces those front ends with smaller footprint designs concentrated on broadband filtering and gain control.
It was really interesting to talk to Mike and learn about the challenges with wideband direct conversion devices. Turning to the news, the U.S. Army awarded Lockheed Martin a $756 million contract, and this will be to deliver additional capability for the nation's ground-based hypersonic weapons system called the Long Range Hypersonic Weapon. Under the contract, Lockheed Martin will provide additional long-range hypersonic weapon battery equipment, systems, and software engineering support, and logistics solutions to the Army. The program will introduce a new class of ultra-fast and maneuverable long-range hypersonic missiles with the ability to launch from ground mobile platforms. And then I also saw Quantic Electronics announce the acquisition of M-Wave Design, and they're a leading supplier of ferrite-based RF and microwave components for aerospace and defense and quantum computing applications, and it looks like they've resumed their acquisition activities. Eric, what did you see in the news?
Well, according to a recently published report from Del Oro Group, point-to-point microwave transmission equipment revenue declined 8% year over year in the first quarter of 2024. And the market contraction was mostly due to a rapid deceleration in mobile radio deployments in the quarter. And that's caused them to lower the 2024 outlook to a 1% growth rate. And they expect the first half of 2024 to be much weaker than initially anticipated. And I'll end on a more positive note. Yole just released a report asking if quantum is a new gold rush. And they're forecasting the market, which is computing, sensing, timing, cryptography, to grow from about $840 million this year to slightly over $1.8 trillion in 2029 and hit more than $3.3 trillion by 2034. So there should be lots of opportunities there.
And turning to events, all eyes are on IMS for next month. The May issue, we cover the IMS event with the overviews of the conferences, special events, workshops, panels, and the exhibition. And the theme this year is capitalizing across the spectrum, being in Washington, D.C. And let's look at the exhibition. There are about 550 companies signed up so far, so expect that many and probably a few more. And there should be a great level of attendance this year. Being in D.C., it hasn't been there in a long time. Make sure you spend some time checking out the new products and networking with other engineers in the exhibition. There's also a startup program this year, and the exhibition floor will have some smaller booths for these new companies. And there's also a Voice of the Founder industry panel session on Tuesday at 11 a.m. in the MicroApps Theater. And this will be led by Chris Markey and James Buckwalter. So go check out that program. What else do we have on the exhibition floor, Eric?
Well, Microwave Journal has organized the IMS Executive Forum. That takes place also in the MicroApps Theater on Tuesday at 4 p.m. This year it's entitled Aerospace and Defense, Semiconductor to Systems Trend, and it'll be led by Sanjay Raman, and there's a great panel of experts, so don't miss that. There's also Build a Foxhole Radio Receiver event on Wednesday and Thursday in booth 2431, organized by Professor David S. Ricketts. And this is a hands-on experience where you'll learn how to build the ingenious radio receiver built by Lieutenant M.L. Rupert in the 1940s. So that should be a good diversion for anyone who's interested. And I can't top that. So that wraps up this episode of Frequency Matters. Our sponsor is Analog Devices. Analog Devices is a leader in the design, manufacture, and marketing of a broad portfolio of high-performance analog, mixed signal, and digital signal processing integrated circuits used in virtually all types of electronic equipment. Remember, as a member of the industry, a subscription to Microwave Journal is free, so please visit our site and subscribe today if you're not already a reader. Thanks for watching, and please join us next time for another episode of Frequency Matters.